So you're looking to launch your first or next group program, whether that is a group coaching program, a course, or a membership, and you want to know, what do I charge? As a launch strategist and business consultant, this is what I do with my clients. I help them develop their group program, figure out how to price it, and launch it. And in this video, I'm going to be deep diving into the group program. I'm going to walk you through how you can price it so it covers all of your costs as well as makes you a profit. So grab your journal, Jackie, and let's get to it. Whenever you're pricing a product, you're going to want to follow the same steps that I outline in how to price your product. I'll link that to the top and below. Those steps detail how you are going to take into consideration the following factor: who your customer is and the type of product that you want to create, the cost to produce and deliver it, the time of staff to produce and deliver it, your tax liability, your profit margin, and what the market will support. But the key difference between pricing for a done-for-you service or an individual physical product is that in a group program, you are pricing it per unit to scale. And group programs have a lot of benefits. Instead of trading your time for dollar from a one-to-one model, now you're trading your time from a one-to-many. There's an opportunity for greater profitability as you scale up and have more people within your group program. When you're just starting out or you're just launching a group program for the first time, it can be a little dicey in terms of how to price it so it is profitable. A lot of times we're looking to hit the first milestone, to hit the break-even point, and then continue to grow our group program so that way it makes the profit. So how do we do this? Well, let me walk you through the same steps that I've applied in the how to price, but we're going to look at it from a group perspective. So the first question we want to ask ourselves is, what is the customer experience that you're looking to have? And what is the result you're looking to achieve? And what's the minimum amount of effort that you need to put in order for you to help them achieve that result? Now, you may have just asked, what do you mean by the minimum amount? Well, let me explain. Oftentimes when we create a group program, we load it up and we inflate it with way too much. And part of the reason why we tend to do that is because it's the first time we're launching that product. We haven't tested it yet. So we're not sure exactly what's going to provide the transformation with 100% confidence. And we want to make sure there's a lot of value there for the price that we're testing and charging. But I want to encourage you to think about the following. How can you keep it as simple as possible? How can you start as scrappy as possible? So that way you're able to begin small and have the profitability you need to grow bigger. You want to help your members have the best possible experience, which is to feel like they're winning. And how do we do that? We help them have small incremental wins that eventually add up to the transformation that they're looking to have. So how can you break it down into bite-sized or simple steps? How can you give them exercises or activities that's going to help them move forward one step at a time? How can you give them a community experience that isn't overwhelming? Your members have a finite amount of time, just as you do. So I want to encourage you, especially when you're first starting out, step it back. Keep it simple. The second thing you want to ask yourself is, what are the costs associated with this group program? Now, we have two types of costs. We have our costs of goods, and then we have our time of staff. Your costs of goods are those expenses that you incur when you create and deliver that product. So for example, your Stripe and PayPal fees would be considered a cost of good. If you're sending a swag box full of gifts for your members, that would be considered a cost of good. Now let's talk about your time of staff. Your time of staff is the time that you or your team spend in order to provide the service. When considering time of staff, I like to play the pretend game, and that being where I am out of the picture and I'm outsourcing everything. What are those roles that I would need to have, and how much time would they need? You want to add up specifically the activities that you need to do on a monthly basis every month for you to deliver the service. Don't worry about the initial upfront time that you spent building a portal, setting up the community, doing your marketing, creating the initial content. All of that will eventually be paid for down the road. Consider those your upfront costs for you to prepare this product for market. But what we're looking to do is price for the time and cost to cover your monthly expenses to deliver the service. The third step is we want to take a look around and see what the market currently has. You have direct competitors. These are the competitors that are doing the same thing you're doing to the same people. So you want to find people that are targeting the same type of customer that you are with the same type of customer experience. What are they charging? What different program details do they have? And how are you different from those? So when you're doing your market research, I want to caution you not to compare what you have already mapped out and to think that now you have to add more compared to what someone else has done. I just want you to look from an investigative standpoint of what are the prices, what are they offering, just so that way you know what's out in the market currently and is being supported by existing businesses. The fourth thing that you want to consider is, what are your growth goals? Where does this group program fall into your product pipeline? Is it your only revenue source, or is it a complementary one? You want to understand how this group program falls into your product pipeline, so that way you know how much weight does this product have with your overall revenue for your business as well as its growth. Now, to grow your business, you want to make sure that you're having a profit margin, and group programs can be great for providing healthy profit margins as you're scaling up. Now, profit margin in the most simple definition is that you have your price minus your expenses. So whatever is left is your profit. Now, the beautiful thing about a profit margin is that if you're pricing your individual units in order to cover your costs at the minimum amount of people, then anyone above and beyond that winds up adding to the profit. The fifth step is determining how many people you want in your program. We want to look at two numbers. The first number we want to look at is, what is the maximum number of people that we want in our program? And then the next number is, what's the minimum number of people we want in our program? So let's say you're doing a group coaching program. You want to keep it intimate. Your max is 10. The minimum amount that you want to cover your costs is 4. You're looking at pricing for the 4 is because we want to try to cover our costs as quickly as possible. When you get to the 10, you have maximum profitability. If you don't have a max, it's the same basic idea. Let's say you have a membership. You're going to price your membership to determine what's the minimum number of people that you need in order for your membership to break even. And then anything above and beyond that, you're starting to look at scaled profitability. So let me break this down for you. You have a group coaching program. Your max is 10, your minimum's 4. And for 10 people, your costs are going to be $10,000. For 4 people, your costs are going to be $8,000. To cover your costs for 10 people, you would just need to charge $1,000. But if you only got 4 people and you need to cover $8,000, you would have to charge $2,000 per person. So certainly you could just charge $2,000. And then when you get up to 10 people, you're making $20,000 minus 10. Now you have $10,000 remaining. That's a 50% profit margin, but that needs to also cover potentially 20 or 30% of the taxes that you're going to owe, whatever is left over. That's your true profit margin. When it comes to our group coaching programs, I like to suggest that you double your minimum. So in this case, charging $4,000 per person. And here's why. When you wind up looking at the added costs of a maximum of 10 people, which is $10,000, now your profit margin is starting to be eaten away. If you're charging $4,000 per person, when you get the maximum number of people, you'll have $40,000. Minus $10,000, you're left with $30,000. Remove 25% from a tax liability standpoint, and you're still left with 50% profit margin. That's how you start seeing these group programs helping to grow your business more quickly, because you're able to price it for that higher margin. We would then go back and check our market research to make sure that the price of $4,000 per person is in alignment with what's being charged within the industry based on the transformation that our customers are looking to achieve. If we find that the $4,000 price is on the low end, we can always add more to it if we desire. If we find that the $4,000 on the high end or completely unreasonable within the market and based on the transformation, that's when we know we need to scale it back and simplify it more, providing less so that way our costs and price can come down. When you think about hitting your milestones for your group program, we want to first hit a break-even point, the minimum number of people we need for us to be able to cover our costs. Our second milestone is to be able to hit profitability. And our third milestone is to continue to grow until we've hit our max, or just to continue to grow and scale, building out your team to support additional growth. Well, that concludes this video. If you found it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a like, and consider subscribing below. And for those of you that subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell so that way you don't miss a notification when we drop new content. I'd love to continue the conversation with you. Are you planning on launching a group program anytime in the future, or have you already done so? And how are you considering pricing your group program after watching this video? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to seeing you on our next video.